Now, I read an article that said introverts have so much that needs to be shared with the world. And I do believe that we do have this silent genius that is missing from the world. So here's my quick story and 3 tips on how you can step into the light if you are an introvert. I was thinking the other day how easy it is, and I hate when I say how easy it is, but I couldn't help but notice how some of us gravitate towards what might be something not quite healthy for our mind, our body, and our soul. I have said this many times before that I stutter, right? I have worked on it since the 3rd grade with Mrs. Graff to focus and take my time when I speak. Fully aware of it. I do not hide it. I don't shy away from it. As a matter of fact, I have spoken about how that speech impediment is my superpower. I lean into it because it works for me. But more importantly, I did not see it as a handicap. I did not see it as a hindrance. I saw it as and see it as a way for me to truly step into who I am and show up authentically. And so I got to thinking about the conversation for those of us who are introverts. Now, I love to talk about the Zodiac sign. I am a Virgo. I do accept some of the Virgo behaviors. Perfect is not one of them. I don't do perfect because it don't even exist. And so the idea of getting all tangled up over that, ridiculous. But I am meticulous, I am timely, I am organized. So when I see public posts, videos about introverts, they often talk about how introverts are shy and how they don't speak. Here's the deal. Introvert, extrovert is about energy. Where do you get your energy from? Or does it take away? As an introvert, being with people to a certain extent exhausts me. I love people. I love entertaining. I love hanging out. I love dancing. I do all the things. But there is a limit to it. When my battery is like tapping on the quarter and we're almost on E, then we are done. We are like beyond done. I don't have it. I am a loner, but I am not shy. I mean, according to my husband, I'm a social butterfly, go figure. But I am not shy. Here's where I'm going with this. There have been discussions about how people who are introverts can survive in the world that celebrates, like, loud and proud, those who are extroverts, those who get their energy from people. I have some tips for you on how to get through the day-to-day and how to show up authentically without sharing your whole life story and without going beyond where you feel comfortable. Okay, so I am not going to not credit my boss for giving me this great advice because she's the one who helped me get to this place. Don't ever not thank those who have helped you in some shape or form. So being the loner that I am, I don't know how I got into retail. Again, I love people. I enjoy serving people and selling. Absolutely love selling, like real selling, not that buying this because you have that, like real deal, giving people what they need, want, and deserve selling. And in the midst of that, I also really enjoy teaching. And so I got a job as a sales trainer for the company. Went out, Had an amazing time in my very first store opening. I mean, I'm a great storyteller. People love my stories. I have this amazing creativity and imagination. And it came out and everyone's like, oh my goodness, I love G and how she teaches. But here's where she falls a little short. She talks to no one. I would go on my lunch break and mind my business. I wasn't there to be somebody's welcome wagon, or so I did not know. I didn't think I was to be the welcome wagon. But that was part of the job. When you go out to open a new store, you're setting the tone for the culture and the environment that should be there every single day. And I know how it was in my store, so of course I bring it, but I figure, I'm here, I'm teaching, I'm gonna just stay right here with like my blinders on. And so I get back and I'm getting my evaluation from my boss and raving reviews on execution, presentation, engagement. And then there's this little box of, she doesn't talk to anybody. That doesn't work. She's got to talk to people. And so I'm telling my boss, I am private. I don't need everybody in my business. I don't share things with people because I don't know them. And she says, Gwendolyn, here's my advice for you. And if you are an introvert, you're trying to figure out how to operate in these corporate waters, whatever, these networking spaces, here's my advice to you. Pick 3 things that you want to talk about and can talk about consistently and stay there. Stay there, whatever it is, pick those 3. And then that will allow you to engage, share, but also maintain your privacy and your peace. And I thought, okay. So I go out on the very next store opening, and the 3 things I picked was 1, fashion, because I was a fashion student. I studied fashion. I ended up studying home fashion. You can't go wrong there. So fashion. And I particularly loved Puma sneakers. And so I created a collection of sneakers that matched my wardrobe, and that became my thing. People knew who I was based on my Puma sneakers. 2, at the time I had a pet. And my rabbit ran free. And people think that rabbits belong outside in a hutch, and they do not. They are highly sociable animals. They belong in the house running free like cats. They can be litter box trained. That was number 2. And people loved all of my rabbit stories, right? My last one, well, it's food. Everybody likes talking about food. And that was it. I kept those 3 things. No matter where I went, I talked about food, fashion, my rabbit. Okay, Pumas, but whatever, that's still fashion. And I stayed there. I didn't have to go into my private life. I didn't have to talk about anything I didn't feel comfortable sharing. I stayed there. And people are engaged. People were happy to see me. It let me have a whole conversation. I mean, like my rabbit, that is a whole conversation. Your rabbit runs free and is litter box trained? I could talk for days about that. So if you are an introvert, I'm going to advise you to find 3 things you have no problem talking about, that you feel comfortable sharing, and stay there. No one has to be the wiser that you're terrified, that you really don't want to be in this place. No one has to know that, because I love talking about my rabbit. Even to this day, I love discussing fashion and I love talking about food. So when I say pick 3 things, don't pick stuff that you have no passion about. You want to show up authentically. And when people would hear me talk about my rabbit and my eyes would get big and bright, my smile was like, yes, people respond to that. Those are natural human reactions, and they're authentic and they are you. Pick 3 things, stick with it. Now, if you're thinking about doing something on YouTube, okay, I say you can do the exact same thing. Like, you can definitely do the exact same thing. Pick 3 things you like, talk about it, call it a day, right? Now, I have done a number of videos at this point, right? Because I went from being a sales trainer to being a market trainer, to creating videos for the company. So literally being on stage, doing all kinds of video stuff, you know, and then even in my own personal life and my business, being on stage, doing webinars and speaking events, like at Dreamforce for Salesforce. So we have been on some stages. So at this point, speaking is like nothing. But the one thing that I don't want to leave out, if you want to become more comfortable in front of the camera or what have you, is you're going to have to practice. You can just practice. Just make a video and throw it out there. Trust. It's no big deal. Or make the video and watch it for yourself. You could do that too. As a matter of fact, I created a quick video about learning your voice and knowing your voice. It's tagged right here. Check that out. But I would love to hear where you are. If you are an introvert or an extrovert, at this point, my personality has changed. I have done so many things with being a welcome wagon and a host or hostess that my personality has now changed. And so I am now tagged as an introvert with extrovert tendencies. We are open to change. You don't stay where you are. Just a little FYI. See you guys in the next one.